Allegedly, a woman traveled 7 hours to be with a man, and the man had a weird ass dog. And come to find out, the dog was really his ex girlfriend. Go ahead, get your popcorn and Henny. Welcome back, YouTube. And for those who do not know me, hello. My name is Noah, and on this channel we talk about death, true crimes, haunted people, places, and things, spiritual reparations, and how you can fuck around and find out. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. Make sure you're following me over on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. On today's episode, we will be watching a story time. Okay? This creator has some very interesting fucking story times. Follow her. All right. She goes by the handle of Ashley.1997 _ and she has the tea. Okay. I don't know if people are sending her these stories or if they're stories that she heard from somebody else, but this particular story is why you be careful, ladies and gentlemen, of who you lay down with, because someone quite literally got turned into a fucking dog. I can honestly say some days I love that my husband is not spiritual or initiated in anything. I be getting on his nerves real bad, and I probably would have woke up with a tail already. I probably would have had a tail already, baby, if this man was a practitioner, but he is not. And I'm very, very careful with my friends. I mean, a lot of my friends, hell, all of my friends are spiritual in some way, shape, or form. But whenever you get into romantic relationships with men and women, be careful if they are initiated into voodoo or Ifa or Santeria. Because them people don't be fucking playing. You cross them once, you turn into a dog. Okay? So I'm going to insert the video right here. And as always, I'm going to tag her down below, give her a follow. Listen to this insane ass story, y'all.
Did y'all hear the story about that girl Cassie that traveled 7 hours away to go be with this dude that she had been talking to for over a year, long distance? Later on down the line, y'all, she found out that this man his dog was his ex-girlfriend. Now, I know this shit probably confusing. You like, what the fuck? But let me explain this shit to y'all. So y'all know in New Orleans, they real big on that voodoo shit. Real big. So y'all, after John and Cassie had been talking for a year or whatever, they decided to move in with each other. Cassie ended up getting an offer from this job that she had been waiting on. So once it was confirmed that she got the job, y'all, she packed up all her belongings and she drove 7 hours away to go be with this man that she thought she was in love with. So she get down there to the man's house or whatever, and he helping her unpack. In this cage, he had this big ass dog, y'all. The dog was real vicious. Now, Cassie was confused because when they was on FaceTime or when they would talk on the phone, she never heard of a dog. He never mentioned a dog whatsoever. So, y'all, as Cassie walking through the house putting her stuff up, the dog is like barking at her with a real vicious bark. So she make a comment to John, and she was like, John, you ain't gonna never be able to let that dog out the cage while I'm here because look how he barking at me. John corrects her and lets her know that the dog is a she. Now, every time Cassie would walk past this cage, y'all, the dog would just bark. Like, if that dog was to get out, that dog would have probably killed Cassie. Now, it's a lot of questions that Cassie wanted to ask John about the dog that raised concern. Like, for one, he would only take the dog out at 3 in the morning. It wouldn't be 2:59. It wouldn't be 3:01. It was exactly 3 a.m. in the morning that he would take this dog out. One day, Cassie looking out the window, and she looking at the interaction that he having with the dog. John and this dog would stare at each other, y'all. Like, the dog would be sitting down just staring at John, and John would be staring at the dog. So it was a lot of shit that was like going through Cassie's head. Like, what the hell this man got going on with this damn dog? One thing Cassie noticed is that the dog was well trained. Whenever John would tell the dog to sit or eat or lay down, the dog would do so. So y'all, this continued or whatever with John and Cassie would ask John, like, what's going on with you and the dog? John always brushed it off and made it seem like the dog was the type of dog that was not used to like people being around. He also told Cassie that it may take some time for the dog to get used to her. But in the back of Cassie's mind, she knew it was something more to this dog in their relationship. So y'all, one day John decided to go run an errand. Cassie decides to go to the next door neighbor to see what's going on. Come to find out, y'all, the next door neighbor was the voodoo lady that put the spell on the damn dog, which was John's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. So I guess they had got into an altercation one night. The ex-girlfriend had called the police on John. But by both of their names being on the lease, the police was not allowed to make John leave. So John noticed that his ex-girlfriend was trying to break up with him. She was trying to leave him. He goes next door to this voodoo lady and puts this spell on this damn girl. So y'all, he ended up getting a spell on this girl, turns her into a dog. The only thing the voodoo lady told him was every day you have to take her out at 3 in the morning, not 2:59, not 3:01. It have to be at 3 in the morning. And it was crazy because Cassie caught John standing at the back door at like 2:59 and she was wondering what he was doing. And that was because he wasn't able to open that door until 3 a.m. in the morning to let that dog out. So y'all, Cassie goes next door to talk to the voodoo lady or whatever. At the time, she didn't know that there was a voodoo lady until the lady opened up her door. Now you can tell she had all these dolls lined up on this cabinet. She had crystals hanging from her ceiling. Now as many people as that was, she knew she couldn't have had that many family members to where she had all their pictures lined up. Some of them had their eyes closed. Some of them had their eyes wide open. Some of them looked like they was unconscious. Come to find out, y'all, those were all the victims that she had put voodoo on. She did this ritual every night that was supposed to protect her from spirits coming back to her. And that was a way of her keeping track of them. So once Cassie noticed how the woman's house was set up, she kind of got spooked. Now, it was something that the voodoo lady had said to Cassie that raised concern. The voodoo lady asked Cassie if she loved John. Cassie told her, yeah. The voodoo lady then tells this girl, I wouldn't try to leave him if I was you. The voodoo lady explained to Cassie that John loves hard and she felt like he wouldn't be able to take another heartbreak. So Cassie looking at the woman like, damn, is this something you know that I don't know? So at this point, y'all, the voodoo lady knowing that she had said too much to Cassie. So while Cassie talking to the voodoo lady or whatever, John pulls back up. The voodoo lady let Cassie know that it was nice to meet her, this, that, and the third. Cassie goes back home. But y'all, it was something about that dog that just wasn't sitting right with Cassie. So every time John would leave, y'all, she would start going through his stuff. So y'all, it's this shed that he had in his backyard, y'all. All that girl stuff was in there. Her clothes, her shoes, her damn wallet, her purse, like as if the girl never left. Cassie also finds this diary that this girl been writing. The thing about it, y'all, John never knew that his ex-girlfriend had kept a diary. So she was logging her day-to-day living with him. So Cassie reading the diary, y'all, the girl basically saying how she had been trapped, like, this man won't leave her alone. He's very aggressive. She have no family. She was just really pouring her heart out into this diary. Then, y'all, in the diary, the ex was talking about how the voodoo lady and John was real close to each other. She wrote about how John would want to spend more time with the voodoo lady than her. Now, y'all know Cassie saw all that stuff that was in the lady's house, but she couldn't really put her finger on, what the lady had going on. She then finds out through the diary, y'all, that the girl was a voodoo lady. Now, the way John's shed was like set up, he had like a front door of the shed and he had like a back door of the shed. And it was 2 windows on the side. So Cassie heard John coming outside or whatever, so she goes through the back door of the shed. Behind his house is these other nice houses, and Cassie made it seem like she was looking at the houses. John asked her what she was doing or whatever, and Cassie was like, these houses are beautiful, just really trying to throw John off. John then tells Cassie, come on, let's come inside, let's cook. Cassie notices that the dog was not aggressive. The dog was just staring at this girl. So y'all, they in the house or whatever, they cooking the food or whatever. It's a million and one thoughts going through Cassie's head about this dog, this voodoo lady, what she saw in the shed, what she read in that diary. So y'all, one day she decided to wait until John went to go run another errand, and she was gonna let that dog out the cage just to see if the dog was gonna attack her or like what the dog was gonna do. So y'all, in one hand she has a kitchen knife, in the other hand she got a pew pew. So she walking up to the cage, y'all. At this time, the dog is real calm. They just basically staring at each other. Cassie scared. The dog is like calm as fuck. Cassie let the dog out the cage, y'all. The dog instantly runs to the back door. Cassie follows the dog and she opens up the back door. The dog runs to that shed, y'all. Cassie follows the dog to the shed. She opens the shed, y'all, and the dog go to this specific place. And it's this big ass box with all type of shit like voodoo dolls, crystals, a lot of sage. Like you can tell that it was some work done in that box. In the box, she also found pictures of the ex-girlfriend, y'all, and pictures of the dog. Now, it's this letter that she read in the box, y'all, that told this girl everything. How this man did it, when he did it, why he did it, all type of shit. So at this point, Cassie knowing that John had put a voodoo spell on his ex-girlfriend, which turned her into the dog. Cassie, not knowing that John then came back from his little errand, he notices that Cassie and the dog is in the shed. So while she study rambling through everything, y'all, John is at the front of the goddamn shed, finna walk through the door. As Cassie and the dog was finna leave out the shed, y'all, John jabbed a knife in her stomach and shanked her ass like 12 times, leaving her deceased in the shed. He then gets his dog, which is the girl, the ex-girlfriend, puts her ass back in the cage, and now he on to his next victim. Anyways, y'all like these crazy ass stories, so I just put them out there.
Child. Them Nola folk, that Nola voodoo is that lethal. There's a couple people I'll never fuck with. Us hoodoos, I'll never be for the hoodoo motherfucker. Them New Orleans people that got that New Orleans hoodoo and voodoo, please, because this is more than just a story. I can't say a lot. I won't say a lot. I'm gonna mind my black ass business. But I will tell you, there is a reason that I talk about New Orleans being a portal, that I have the utmost respect for New Orleans, its practitioners. Cause honey, they do things. They still got the recipe from their ancestors. Whereas a lot of places around the United States, the people who practice voodoo, hoodoo, and other African traditional religions, our shit has been watered down, thrown away. Not intentionally, but of course, whenever you have elders that pass, the recipes, the conjures, the spells, they get, lost. Not them. This story is not one that is unfamiliar to me. We've talked about it several times about how people are turned into animals. I mean, quite literally, Lugauos, shapeshifters, the basics. But it is very dangerous territory when you piss a practitioner off. Okay. Do I think this woman necessarily pissed him off? No. This, in my opinion, is whenever a practitioner is bypassing, breaking spiritual law. Because I can almost guarantee one or two things happen. Okay. My first theory is that he was controlling, she wanted to leave, and he didn't want that. That's why he turned her into quite literally a house pet. My second theory is that she was doing root on him first. I've heard backyard swamp talk Baraki stories about how practitioners have quite literally turned people that tried to cross them in the most ugliest ways into pets to contain them. Because if they let them go, they would continue to try to cross them in that way. And when I say I've heard it, I don't mean on TikTok. Some things you have to sit at the feet of elders to hear. Whether it's with hoodoo, voodoo, Ifa, whatever. Some things you just have to be there, baby, to hear. And that's why I be telling y'all, stop listening to people on this app. When I say this app, I mean YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Stop listening to people. And you ain't even got to listen to me because fuck me. Who am I? I'm that bitch. But who am I to you, right? You don't have to listen to the thing I say. But stop listening to these people that get on this app and speak Japanese and tell you parakis about deities, spirits, gods and goddesses, but they haven't sat at the feet of elders to receive that information, because these type of stories, regardless if this young lady was telling the truth or not, which I absolutely believe her, she didn't fucking stutter. She didn't stutter. These type of stories are the stories that you hear from your elders. And when I say sit at the feet of elders, you literally are a grown woman, possibly with kids and married, crisscross applesauce like you in goddamn kindergarten, listening to an elder talk about their experiences. And the elder doesn't even have to be old. That's the tea. Doesn't have to be an old woman or man. Just has to be someone who is above you spiritually, crowned, initiated, whatever. Even if they're younger than you, that's still an elder. Stop listening to people, because this type of shit really happens. I promise you, I have given y'all a lot of stories, a lot of first-hand accounts from Mambos, Ugans, Babalaos, Ifanias, crowned people, initiated people. I've done it over the last how many years? Y'all better start listening. But what I will say is that it's just I'm just glad, whatever the case may have been, whatever scenario, that that lady let her go, the dog go. And here's why. Because no matter what, whether they were spiritually in warfare together or if he was controlling, no one deserves to be caged up like that. I mean, there are times when people deserve they look back, but to cage somebody for God knows how long, just cross them, God damn it, because then you're messing with your ashe, your blessings, your Iwa Pele. Just cross them, curse them, goddamn curse the bloodline. I don't know, but to me, I'm not saying like, because I know this is a thing within the spiritual community, within voodoo, hoodoo, turning motherfuckers into rolling calves, turning them into dogs, cats, people shape-shifting willingly into these things. But to hold somebody against their free will like that just does not sit in my spirit well. And my guides are like, he should have just either crossed her or cursed the generational, like just cursed her lineage members, her descendants, her and the people. Because when he is about to go to the maker, he's going to have to pay for that severely. That is all today, YouTube. And if you would like me to cover a person, place, thing, please leave it down below. And until next time, y'all don't be out there turning motherfuckers into dogs, keeping them as pets. Y'all do good and be good. Shit. Love y'all damn. I'll talk to y'all later.